And yes, you are. You are tuned into 1039 WYAB, and this is the Andrew Gosser Show. It's Thursday. It's going to be jam packed. We're streaming on Rumble, we're streaming on X, we're streaming on YouTube, and we're streaming at the mothership that is WYAB.com. So if you can't pick up our 50,000 watt blowtorch of a signal at the radio tower, you can always pick us up on the stream. Like, share, and subscribe the streams if you wouldn't mind. And give me a follow on X. Andrew Gosser, AndrewGasser. Just that's how my name's spelled, and that's what I am on X. Go ahead and give us a call today if you feel like participating in the show. 601 879 0002. The text line is open. I know I'm gonna get some people fired up today. We're gonna do some reverse engineering here. 601-879-5060. And whether you agree with me, disagree with me, sometimes agree, hopefully we can all be agreeable if we do not agree. The mission here at the Andrew Gosser Show is standard. We are here to equip the saints. Who are the saints? Y'all are the saints. And this was sent to me by the Sweepy this morning, and it's so true. They see, but do not see, and you hear, but you do not hear, nor do you understand. Isn't that just like the internet today? Isn't that just like American culture today, American society today? Maybe not even American society. Maybe it's Western civilization. I remember having that class back in high school, Western Civ, how the West became the West. Not just the American West, but the Western civilization, Europe, America, some places in Central America. We have plumb lost our minds. And I want to walk us through this today. It's going to be a little bit of we got to start here to get to there kind of scenario. And I'm excited to start with, of all places, Finland. Yep, Finland. And I got this via Ground News and Finland. World's Happiest Report highlights social media's negative impact, ranks Finland as the happiest country. Now, Finland's been the happiest country for the last 9 years. I don't know what they're doing out there, but it's obviously doing something good. They're obviously doing something right. Published Thursday, the UN-backed World Happiness Report of 2026 ranks Finland as the happiest for the 9th year in a row with life satisfaction score of 7,764. When I open up the link, I can't find where the United States is ranked, or I know where it's ranked, but I can't find the score. Known for its sauna culture, strong public services, Finland's top ranking reflects wealth, equal distribution, strong welfare protections, and a healthy life expectancy among its 5.6 million inhabitants. It's also amazing because it comes out after social media. And for me, this is where it hits home because I have a teenage daughter and there's Insta that's there. I know that there are quote unquote parental controls, but it just seems to, according to this report, that young girls, especially in the West, spend more time on social media than they do in the real world. This AI thing is just making a move. The report highlights heavy social media use and associated with a decline in young people's well-being and worldview, especially in teenage girls in English-speaking countries in Western Europe, with adolescents spending an average of 2.5 hours daily swiping right, scrolling left, pushing up, pushing down, whatever it is that they do. The report comes after several countries consider restricting minors' access to social media. This is really hard for someone as a Gen Xer, analog kid growing up, digital in my young adult years, and obviously in my follow-on years. Do we want to restrict access to social media? Do we? With great power comes great responsibility. I sit there and I look on what's happening on Facebook when I see what's happening on TikTok. I don't have Instagram, my daughter does. When I see what's happening on YouTube, and I'm like, What are we not seeing here? How is the world so screwed up that we can't see the craziness that's happening right now?" And good people can disagree, but apparently, if we disagree in person, we'll sit there and be nice. But as soon as it hits to social media, oh, the long knives are out, the guns are out. I sit there and look at people and I'm like, "That's not what you told me just 5 minutes ago when we were in person at the Shell." But on Facebook, boy, woo, doggy. I look at individual situations like what's happening with Joe Kent and how we can't see the forest through the trees. People going back and doing research don't wanna go back and look at how much he was a certain way, and then how the tragic wife of his or how the tragic death of his wife has changed his view. You can't just simply say that he's had a change of view after a life-changing situation. You know, that's not enough. You gotta go in hard, you gotta turn the knife, you gotta make threats, threaten criminal charges against certain people who you loved just the week earlier. Now all of a sudden, they don't have a 100% agreement rate with you, and it's time to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I'm not here for it, ladies and gentlemen. I've gotta call it like I see it. I sit here and I look at some of, what people are saying online, and they say one thing, but they mean another. They're not even sure what they're typing or saying anymore. And the AI intrusion on life, we've crossed that Rubicon, ladies and gentlemen. If I get anything that's even slightly spicy or slightly questionable, the first thing I do at Grok, "Is this real?" "No, this is not real. This is AI generated story." I'm not even gonna but I had that story sent to me over 15 times. People thought it was real. And did I come out on a general post and just blast him and say, "What the heck are you doing? This is fake"? No, I messaged him quietly and said, "This is fake, and here's where it's at." Ladies and gentlemen, even my trusted news sites and trusted accounts, is this real? Because I genuinely believe this phase of AI that we have now that we're all enjoying, if you haven't checked out the Baby News Network on YouTube, maybe you should. It's truly hilarious. But what we don't realize, and stories reported this last year, is that between X and Google, Alphabet, YouTube, they were using human videos, our videos, the show's video, the show's live cast, to train their AI on how to act and how to think, and it's to the point now to where we can't even really tell for sure if it's real or not without asking AI, and people are sending some outlandish stuff that can't possibly another example of this, how many of you have seen in your feeds videos of an injured wolf cub on the side of the road, and the golden retriever hops out and befriends it, and the next thing you know, it's a big giant wolf, and it's living at home with the golden retriever, or it's a bobcat, or it's an eagle. Do you know that Google had to ban over 4 billion different videos from its library that had to do with animal rescue? What is that saying? Think about all the time that sentient human beings spent watching AI generated video. Never mind whether it's programming you for good or bad. This is just tugging at your heartstrings. We are what we can consume. Do we consume real stuff or do we consume bad stuff? Good food, bad food. And I'm not even getting to the war yet. The war in Iran, that's got me thinking that we're in really deep trouble from a humanity's point of view. And you know what? This is inevitable. Time marches on. I'm not gonna say the human race evolves, but things move forward because you can, even though you're moving forward, you can still devolve. I think back about when fire was discovered by humanity and the time it took to get to that next step. Written word, next step, agriculture, next step, industrial revolution, next step, computer revolution, next step, AI revolution, the, the invention of banking and money and trade, all the way back to where we are now. We're just experiencing an evolution that no one really wants to go through. This is the AI revolution. The next one's going to be the energy revolution. At some point, we're going to find something that generates power that isn't oil or natural gas. That's not a fossil fuel. That is incredibly more sustainable than solar, wind, whatever you want to call it. And it's going to force our economy to completely change. And you're going to see the wealthiest of the wealthy become the poorest of the poor. And in the end, it's what you can produce. Good friend of the show sent me a video last night, and I just had to sit there and say, "Yep, I agree with that." I won't say what the video is on the air right now, but I might share it a little bit later. But it will make you think about the way you look at the Straits of Hormuz, the Middle East. It'll make you think, why did we allow this little piece of land to become so influential in the world's economic stage and markets? Forget the natural gas and oil that goes through those Straits of Hormuz. Think about all the other different products that are required by oil and natural gas to generate the markets. No one is understanding this more right now than the country of China. China is facing a energy shortage like it's never seen before. I know I sound like Trump, but it's never had this problem. It didn't anticipate this type of problem. Look at what's happened in Venezuela. You don't hear anything about Venezuela anymore, do you? The leftist rejects sit there, whine, and complain about Venezuela and how we took it over, but the people there aren't complaining. The people in Cuba are facing an enormous energy shortage right now. And if you go watch I spent an hour last night looking at different views of Cuba and what Cubans think about what's happening there. There are people in the United States who fled Cuba in the '60s and '70s who can't wait to go back. They're 70, 80 years old. They wanna go back to Cuba. The communist regime there is hated and loathed both externally and internally, but we don't wanna see that. That doesn't fit the news media narrative. It doesn't fit the AI programming that is slowly being pushed down upon you, and if you notice it in your social media feed of choice, X, YouTube, Instagram, whatever it is, I've noticed incredible changes in what's being pushed to me. I see a lot of payday loan ads that and I never even searched that kind of garbage. I see all sorts of video game ads. I don't even play video games. The things that are being pushed on us Again, we're no longer targeted, we're suggested, is changing how humanity thinks, moves forward, and operates. And when we get back, we are gonna talk more about the war that's going on in Iran, and some thoughts I had a couple days ago that I'm like, should I really say?" And then this general comes out and says it. I'm like, "Yep, well, I guess I'm gonna talk about it." You are listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We'll be right back. Yes, you are tuned into the Andrew Gosser Show on here, 103.9 WYB. I'm gonna read you some names, and I want you to tell me, what do these names have in common? Fatima Ardashir Larjani, Laila Katamani, Asa Hashem, Zainab Hajiran, Zara Moragara Damad, and Ishan Nakabat. If you guessed these are all children of Iranian leaders who are professors at universities in the United States of America, you would be correct. And I think I did a pretty good job saying those names. I think there was one that I kinda butchered a little bit. Again, name disclosure, but that's alright. Fatima Edashir Larajani, she's a professor at Emory University and the daughter of Iranian military leader Ali Larajani. Leila Katamini, daughter of the ex-president of Iran, Mohammad Katamini, teaches at Union College. Isa Hashimi, son of Iranian cabinet member Masuma Ishikabar, and that's a woman. Apparently, there's a woman in the Iranian cabinet. Didn't know that. Zainab Hashemiran, that's the hard one to say, daughter of an intelligence officer in Iran, Saeed Hashemiran, University of Massachusetts. I'll just say Zara Damad, daughter of the Ayatollah Khomeini, University of Illinois Champaign Urbana-Champaign. And the last guy, Ishan Nekabat, son of the medical minister of Iran, teaches at George Washington University. I thought we were supposed to expel all these people we're at war with. Remember when we were at war in World War II, we kicked all the Nazis out of the country? When we went to war with Iraq the first time, a bunch of diplomats were expelled? Ladies and gentlemen, and every lady in the pictures here wearing a hijab or yeah, a hijab, that's correct. The gentlemen are not, and they're all teaching our kids here in the United States. You don't see the plan? The long plan? Where these kids come over, they grow up in Iran, get completely indoctrinated into anti-West sentiment. Then they come to the United States, get educated, find degrees. The United States has the best universities, or at least we used to, when we actually taught stuff, when we had real critical thought, critical thinking skills. And now they're teaching our kids when they come from and these aren't just like former leaders who got kicked out of the country. I could understand seeking asylum and all that. These are big time Iranian leaders. And again, you see but do not see. You hear but do not hear. You do not understand. All of this information out on social media for America to do that, but we're too worried about what's going on Reddit. We're too worried about how certain people feel about Portland, Oregon, the great weirding of America. We're not focused on the enemy that's here. We're focusing on our own dopamine hits. This one really hit me hard because I was thinking about this. I'm like, Andy, do you really want to say this? You've got a military background. You truly do understand how the application of sea power and air power. Not so much troops on the ground. I fully admit that. Although I do agree that, and ultimately, to win any war, you're going to need boots on the ground. It's just the way it is. Retired U.S. general calls for thunder runs in Straits of Hormuz. Retired Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg called for maximum effort from the U.S. naval and air escorts on on clearing Iranian missiles, drones, and mines from the Straits of Hormuz shipping lanes, comparing the operation to past quote unquote thunder runs in Baghdad or Operation Earnest Will to test and defeat the resistance. Yep, they're calling for this type of stuff, and I was thinking this. Granted, I was thinking it a little bit different, almost like a Operation Linebacker 3 type of thing. Yes, I know there was no Iraq Linebacker 3 in Vietnam, it was Linebacker 2, but almost like a Linebacker 3 type of plan where we go in there and we just start bombing the heck out of them. And before you say, "Oh, Andy, this general is just crazy, doesn't know what he's thinking," he was a US Army Special Forces officer, AKA Green Beret, led all sorts of combatant commands, including the 82nd Airborne Division in 1996, so he's not a slouch. Unlike some generals that are out there now who have never led a combatant command in their life, and they're generals now and admirals making command decisions, combatant decisions. They did all the right staff jobs. They were in the right commands and just checked the buttons and weaved and what bobbed their way up the rank. Lieutenant General Kellogg is not one such person. So when I see generals validating what I'm thinking, I go with those stories. And the truth of the matter is that Iran is not our biggest enemy here in what's gonna stop America. Dare I say, Islam is not gonna what stops America. What's gonna stop America is alphabet and social media. Because if they can convince enough Americans that we're losing the war, if they can convince enough MAGA people that MAGA is dead, if they can convince just a sliver of people, remember, we don't even remember our own darn history. 3%, 3% of Americans wanted to go to war against Great Britain and not be a subject to the king. 3%. That means 97% were happy just going along to get along. Isn't that what today's all about? Isn't that what it is today? "Oh my god, did you see the price of gas? Oh my gosh, did you hear about Starbucks deunionizing and shutting down my Starbucks? Where am I gonna get my cafe latte? Cafefe." I don't drink coffee, so I don't even Sweet what is it that I get? Chocolate, mocha, something, whatever. I mean, you can see where coffee is on my high priority list. Not even regular Coke or Diet Coke comes on that. What are we really concerned about? Where we're gonna go out with our friends next? I mean, this generation of kids can't even cook a meal, let alone microwave a meal. And we are completely focused. We are focusing on the wrong things. And our society, we're just blind. We're blinded. We're intoxicated. We're drugged up. We are focused on being weird and not the self-preservation of our country, and it's showing. And we're gonna continue to explore this on the Andrew Gosser Show. We're gonna take our next commercial break. We'll be right back. Mhm. And we are back at the Andrew Gosser Show. This is a Oregon State Senator, and I'm getting this via the libs of TikTok. This is just 19 seconds of sound. Let's listen to it real quick.
Federal agencies and the ICE. This is Oregon. We do not need you. You're not welcome. And you need to get the hell out of our community.
That is Oregon State Senator Casey, maybe it's pronounced Casey Yama or Jama, who is from Somalia and can barely speak English. He's telling that we need to get ICE out of our country. You know, we've got bills to pay. We've got wars to fight. We've got things to do. And here you have the left saying, no, let's rot ourselves out from the inside. It's a brilliant two-pronged attack. And actually, it's more like a 7 or 8-pronged attack. And by the way, I do have a news story coming up about that secret special forces unit that I knew was activated, and some of it got leaked out, and I've got a story on it, and I'm going to talk about it. But we got to get through this. So you got Somalia. Somalia's taking billions and billions of dollars. Do you know that construction in Somalia right now, the infrastructure is booming? Somalia is completely building itself up. Where are they getting all that money from? Elon Omar and the squad, the Democrats. Quite frankly, even some of our local congressmen who sit there and allow this spending to happen. They allow this spending to happen. Where are real news journalists at? Quote unquote, I say real in parentheses. Where are real journalists at? CNN, ABC, CBS. Are they talking about this? Actually, CBS is. But here's Nick Shirley, 21-year-old U.S. American citizen, self-admitted virgin, doesn't drink alcohol, doesn't do drugs, goes to temple on Sundays. I think it's called temple. He's a Mormon. He's got bigger stones than 99% of the quote-unquote journalists out there.
Yes, the governor of California is an enemy to the people of California. He's literally working to support the fraudsters. Meanwhile, he could be working to expose the fraud. I mean, how stupid do you have to be to say, okay, let's go after the guy who's exposing the fraud. Let's not go after the fraudsters. That is what he's doing, what he's actively doing each and every single day when he makes out these statements, and all he does is blame the people who are showing the fraud. Why doesn't he say, hey, Nick, great video. How can we help?
Isn't that what the Democrats care about more? Is their funding and the destruction of the United States. Make no mistake about it. You know, as this rise of Islam parades across America, and it was like that saying yesterday. First they came for the communists, and I said nothing. Then they came for the unions, and I said nothing. Then they came for the Christians, and there was no one there for me. Same thing. Same darn thing. All those vehicles. This is a 40-minute video that Nick Shirley put out. And if you're not following him on X, you should be. It's just at Nick Shirley, NickShirleyy, 2 Y's at the end. You want to talk about consuming food, hard food, stuff that's hard to digest. Actually, it's not even hard to digest. You know wrong when you see it because God put it on the inside, the right and wrong gene. I mean, what do you call a Christian who's no longer a Christian? Atheist, agnostic, smart person, idiot? I don't know. What do you call them? I'm just throwing that breadcrumb out there right now. Let's continue with what Brother Nick has to say.
Right? That's what I would say. It was, wow, great video. How did you find this? Where did you go, and where are you going next so we can find somebody to go with you? Don't you think that would be a common response?
Exactly, because these tax dollars don't say right or left on them. They don't say Republican or Democrat.
Right.
Each tax dollar is a dollar for the American people, And when they go in and steal these dollars from us, they're not robbing just the liberal Democrat in California. They're robbing everyone.
Where have we heard that before? Black community of Jackson, Mississippi. All the time that we've spent on this program documenting the fraud in Minnesota and in Oregon and in Washington and in California and in New York. We're getting to New York. Don't worry about that. We've talked about it, but we're really going to smack it up here in a little bit. This is taking food off of your table, and that's why you should be concerned. Again, I don't want to sit there and just get people to vote and agree with me one time. I want a lifetime change. I want a culture change. I want a spiritual change. And again, where is the FBI? Where is the Department of Justice? The video evidence is overwhelming. Do we just not have enough competent prosecutors? Where is our Congress at? Where is our, and again, the Senate is not normally the one to take action on this, although they should. It's normally the House of Representatives because that's the branch of government closest to the people. I do not understand, and I big up Speaker Mike Johnson for what he did with the Save America Act, and for all of those who contacted Senator Wicker and Senator Hyde-Smith yesterday, thank you. Greatly appreciate it. But where are we on immediately stopping all this funding and just completely killing it and shutting the spigot of money off? That's what's going to help America. That's what's going to help get this country turned around, financially speaking. Spiritually speaking, that's a whole nother story. Let's finish up what Brother Nick has to say. It's 7 seconds.
Yeah.
And then the governor gets mad at the person for exposing the fraud. How crazy do you have to be to think with that logic?
Yeah.
Did you see the meme that Governor Newsom put out on Nick Shirley? It was an AI generated meme. It kind of looked like a cross between Ezra's scissor hands, and a bunch of Google GoPro cameras put all over them. You should go look at it. It's a AI generated image, which Governor Gavin Newsom did not state in the post that he did or on the picture itself, which violated California state law. So he put out an image through his official press secretary X account that violated the own law that he signed and put into law. People could say, do as I do, not as I say, or do as I say, not as I do. Or there's another group of people who I think agree with me more, is that there's so many laws on the books, we don't even know what we're doing. We wake up in the morning and we might have violated a law and we didn't even know about it. There's so much low-hanging fruit to go after all this American fraud. We would be out of debt we would be out of a spending deficit in a year if we just canceled all the fraud. And then we froze all the money that are in these accounts and clawed it all back. It would be so worth it. We have a president that's willing to do it. Do we have a Department of Justice that's willing to do it? How many judges on the inside are there that'll just gum this all up? And I don't mean to be like a doom scroller or anything like that. But people are asking me, Andy, how do you feel so at peace when you read all this negative stuff? Well, it's just a spiritual thing. You are listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We'll be right back.
This moment in a bigger picture does harken back to one that we've seen before on the campaign trail, like when Donald Trump said this when he was in Minnesota in 2016 about Somali refugees.
Here in Minnesota, you've seen firsthand the problems caused with faulty refugee vetting, with large numbers of Somali refugees coming into your state with
And we are back here at the Andrew Gosser Show. CNN, we kind of talked about them briefly. They are an enemy of the state. They are bought and paid for by the Iranian government. They're the only U.S. news agency inside Iran operating right now, as far as I can tell. If I'm wrong, correct me, but I don't think I am. And this is them bashing on President Trump. And you tell me when this was.
This moment in a bigger picture does harken back to one that we've seen before on the campaign trail, like when Donald Trump said this when he was in Minnesota in 2016 about Somali refugees.
here in Minnesota, you've seen firsthand the problems caused with faulty refugee vetting, with large numbers of Somali refugees coming into your state without your knowledge, without your support or approval.
My next source knows firsthand what follows political rhetoric like that. The Democrat from Minnesota, Representative Ilhan Omar.
And that's about enough of that. CNN has been propagating this immigration war on America for over a decade. That clip of Trump was from 2017. Trump knew about it back then. We knew about it back then, but what did we do about it? Did we ever complain? Did we ever protest? Did we ever go out and march like the left marches? Or are we comfortable inside our homes? Always give an exemption to the blue collar crew out there working hard. I know you're out there listening. I appreciate you. But even the blue collar crew, at what time do we just say, you know what? We got to go make a stand. We've got to go protest and let our elected officials know that we don't want to be invaded. It is so evident to me that wisdom is wise in all of her works. Even though we see, we do not see. Even though you are hearing right now, do you really hear it? And do you understand? I'm not sure. I'm not sure the quote unquote political right understands. I think they're too busy worried about polls, and we're going to talk about polls in the next hour. Oh, you don't have to worry about that. I went off on Harry Enton yesterday and had to play a clip from YouTube. But he must have got the word, or maybe it's the people who are buying CNN who are like, this 99% leftist crap's got to go. And CNN said, "Hold my beer. We'll put out something even sillier." Have you all heard about the CNN poll yet? Actually, you know what? CNN just reported it. It was actually an NBC poll. The propaganda machine is real. And it doesn't matter where you're getting your news from. There's embedded propaganda in there. And everybody's going to have their side on an issue. And that's okay. I want people to understand it's okay to have that. But at least have the discernment, at least have the common sense to sit there and say, you know what, I'm probably getting paid here. I'm feeling pretty good about this, or I'm feeling pretty angry about this. What's the whole story? And quite frankly, that's why WYB is so important, because you do get the full story. There are some immigrants who come here legally, who need to be here, who deserve to be here, who want to be here, who have gone through the process, through the waiting, through the validating, and they're here legally. But all of these illegal immigrants, we need to get them on out of here. They need to get up out of here. In the next hour, we're going to talk about that poll, and we're going to talk about some more propaganda. You are listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. Welcome back to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. Yep, you're tuned in to the most polarizing radio show in the middle of the day in Mississippi. People don't like what I'm having to say. Well, actually, the engagement's great. The engagement's great. But man, some of y'all need to touch grass, relax a little bit. Look, you can tune in and listen to us on Rumble. You can tune in and listen to us on X and on YouTube and at the mothership, WYAB.com. You can listen to us on our blowtorch, the 50,000 watt blowtorch that is WYAB. You can follow me on X at Andrew Gosser, AndrewGasser. Phone lines are always open. Text lines are open. Phone line is 601-879-0002. Text line is open, 601-879-5060. And no matter what we're talking about, the mission at the Andrew Gosser Show is standard. We are here to equip the saints. Who are the saints? You all are the saints. Because we're seeing but do not see, and because we're hearing but we do not hear, nor do we understand. Yep, that's been the title of today's show. During the break, I got bombarded with the F-35 making an emergency landing somewhere in the Middle East, and it is suspected that it was hit with Iranian missile fire, some type of anti-air type of weapon. CENTCOM has validated this and said that the crew or the plane safely landed at an unknown base in the Middle East and that the pilot is fine. So we'll continue to track that. Of course, the AI memes are already out there showing, some of these videos that are being sent to me by these anti-war, anti-Israel people are just over the top. Like if that missile actually hit that airplane, which isn't even an F-35, the pilot would have 100% mortality rate. There's no getting out of that. Martin Baker could have you could have all the force fields you want. You're not making it out of that. That's not what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about the propaganda in the anti-MAGA movement, MTG, Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly. And look, I don't have anything against them. I actually appreciate it when they have their opposing views on this. But again, it's the hyperbole of it all. It's going over the top. And I know a lot of MAGA people in Mississippi. And I don't know anybody who has said, you know what, I regret voting for Donald Trump. There are people who have disagreements with Donald Trump. They won't necessarily say that publicly, but privately they'll say it. I'll say it publicly when I disagree with the president. I'll be respectful about it too. No need to get all bombastic and boastful because you're not going to win that battle with Donald Trump. But I want you to listen to this piece of propaganda and wait till the very end because it's going to get you.
Yeah, sometimes you look at the polling data and there are numbers that just jump off the screen at you. And this is one of those. Because just take a look here. MAGA GOP view of Trump. Approve 100%. 100%. If you are a member of MAGA and the GOP, you approve of Donald John Trump. 0% say that they disapprove. You don't have to be a mathematical genius to know you can't go higher than 100%. He is the 1972.
So Harry Enton is going off reporting what I would say is propaganda. But this propaganda is not put out by the White House. It's not put out by the GOP. It's not put out by Republicans. It's not even put out by MAGA. If you look at very carefully on this video that's going all over X right now, and this I'm actually quoting Harry Enton's own page, and I've retweeted it on X. The source for this is NBC News. I think this is almost disinformation. I think this is almost anti-propaganda, like making it so over the top that's so completely unbelievable. Is there 100% support of MAGA who's supporting the war? Probably not. There are good Republicans, there are good MAGA people who don't support it. That doesn't mean that they're not going to vote for Donald Trump again, or if they would if they could. It doesn't mean that they regret their vote. Most of us in MAGA especially those of us who have military intel backgrounds, understand that, hey, no new wars means no new wars. But it also doesn't mean if no new war and the guy puts a gun to your head that you're not going to punch back, that you're not going to punch a bully. Like Pastor JB talked yesterday about the bully syndrome and how it's been weaponized through our youth. Just like we've talked about the leftist infestation of our education system. You know, we've had some heated debates at home, not going to lie, whether or not I want to send my daughter to college or not. The more I think about it, the more I don't want her to do it. The more I would like her to start at home and start her own business, preferably ag, making good, honest, good money, instead of becoming $150,000 or more in debt, going to college. Oh, they can go to college, local community college. What are they getting? She's got a one of the smartest women in Mississippi as a mother. She's got a veteran for a father and a great work ethic. Why does she need to go to college? Why put her down that debt? But I went down a side track there. Let's get back to this propaganda of a poll from CNN.
Miami Dolphins. Now, there are some Republicans who disapprove of Donald John Trump, but they are not members of the Make America Great Again movement. The bottom line is this: if you are a member of MAGA, you approve of Donald.
I'm curious, and I'd appreciate a call if you are MAGA and now regretting your vote, because I'd like to talk to you about it. But if you are MAGA and you're regretting your vote and you don't want to call in, text me and let me know, because I want to know. And I'm clearing out all my text messages right now. And I'm being serious as a heart attack here, because I have a hard time believing that there's not just one MAGA person out there who doesn't regret it. Because 100% approval rating just completely, I take this poll and I flush it down the toilet, because there's no way.
It's interesting, though, because there have been a couple prominent people who have sort of come out online, and they're very mad about this war with Iran because he promised no new wars. Is there any sign that people might be leaving MAGA relative to 2024?
Yeah, okay. So, you know, I've said it before, and, you know, the theme of this segment.
And I've got people texting me saying that they're still MAGA in. I haven't got any negative yet, but, you know, again, these are the old hardliner blue blood Republicans who went MAGA just to say that, hey, I'm still MAGA. And awesome, we got a phone call. Let's see what happens here. Hey, welcome to the show.
Hey, man, I was MAGA back whenever he first ran, and I would still make America great now. I'm still all about that, but I do not support this war. I think it was a bad decision. You know, I'm not a military guy, but I know that if he didn't have the foresight to know that the Strait of Hormuz was going to get closed down, then he's not thinking clearly. And if he did know the Strait was going to get closed down, then he's not putting our best interests ahead of everything else. So I know that Marco Rubio came out and said that we did this strike because we knew that Israel was going to strike. And if we didn't strike with them, that we were going to have more casualties. So I know that that means that Israel's dictating what our military does. So I'm all about Make America Great, but at the same time, it's kind of like, you know, what happened to RFK. RFK didn't change his stance. He was a Democrat. He didn't change his stance. He stood principle 10 toes down. Mm-hmm. The Democratic Party left him. It's kind of the same thing. I'm MAGA. I never changed my views. MAGA left me.
Yep.
And I'm still standing right here.
So would if you had to do it tomorrow, Rick, and it came down to whoever the top Democrat is or Donald Trump, who would you hold your nose and vote for?
Well, see, that's where I think we're missing the point.
That's fine. I get that, but if you just had to do it tomorrow,
I can't vote for Kamala. If I had to go back to the thing, I cannot vote for Kamala. It's just I can't do it. So I'm still voting for Trump. But at the same time, Oh man, I think I might have gone to one of the rallies and yelled out something. I don't know. I know that I don't like where we're at. I don't like. And I know that all the talking points that we only get, 1% of our oil out of the strait. That's great,
Yep.
but oil is priced globally. It's also not that. It's the LNG. It's what comes off the LNG, which is helium, which means you can't make microchips, which also means you can't do. You don't use your sulfuric acid, which is what you use for mining things like copper and aluminum and tin. So
Can I ask you a
I
quick
know.
question? Because you're making great points, and I'm not interrupting you to like bombard your point. But why did we get ourselves into this situation in the first place, Brother Rick, where we put ourselves in a situation where, okay, we've got all the oil we want, but now we can't make microchips. People don't realize the food shortage that is coming.
It's coming.
Oh.
We're eating last year's food now.
Yep.
Right now is planting season. This fall, we'll start eating our food from this year. And when that food, right now, it's not even really fit. And the fertilizer costs are astronomical.
Yep.
So if the farmers still decide to plant, that's an if. But if they do, say they get subsidized or whatever, whenever it finally gets to your table, if you think fuel prices are a problem, wait till the food gets to your table. And all right, let's say we keep the food prices down and they don't use the fertilizer. Well, things like corn is a high nitrogen crop. If they don't put the nitrogen to it, which they can't do without the straits being open, because that's just how it is. I can't make up the rules. That's just how it is. Then the yields are less. The yields are less. Then, thanks to our wonderful politicians, your gasoline has corn in it. That means that not only is the price of fuel going to go up just because of the strait being closed, but there's not going to be enough corn to put in I forget what they call it stuff now, but
ethanol?
It goes in ethanol. Thank you. To put the ethanol in, so the price of ethanol is going to go up, which is going to try to fuel up even more. It's all related. It's not one issue. It's not just the oil thing. It's not just the pride thing. This affects everything from the tires on your car to the food, to pharmaceuticals, to the plastic that your pharmaceuticals are in. This affects way more than just oil, and I don't know why nobody can see it.
Rick, who do you think allowed this to happen?
Well, every time I try to think about that, I keep thinking about Klaus Schwab. You will eat the bugs, and you'll have nothing. And I'm keep going, how is he going to do that? How can one man have that kind of power? And I'm not blaming this on him. I'm just saying, how could you make a statement like that 20 years ago, and all of a sudden now it's just so many things lining up. I don't know. I don't know who did it. I know that Netanyahu was coming over here every month, and nobody's seen him now in 3 weeks, so 2 to 3 weeks. So I mean, I don't know. Are the rumors true? Did he get killed? I don't know. I know his brother did.
Let me posit this: could it be that MAGA and Donald Trump saw what was happening once he got into office and saw that the Republicans and Democrats are really two shades of the same color, and that they're selling us down a path? Because let's be truthful, Rick, no one wanted Donald Trump in the beginning. No one did. And everybody poo-pooed him and trashed him. And, we had the blue blood Jeb Bushes out there all the way to the Rand Pauls. And
to the Marco Rubio.
Yep. They put everybody against him that they could, and they couldn't defeat him. And what if, and I'm just saying this, putting this out there, because I know a lot of people who I truly respect and appreciate aren't against this war. Maybe Trump got in there this time and was like, wow, if we don't do something now, we're never going to have the chance to do it. And, and I'm not saying that that's even the right thing to do. I'm just saying sometimes when you get put in these situations, no matter what decision you're going to make, you're going to anger people, right? But that's
the whole, you got to break eggs to make omelets argument. Yep. I get that. But okay, I see your argument, but let me tell you this. Why does he have the people in office that he does? Why is Pam Bondi still there?
Dude,
why?
All I can say about Pam Bondi is boobs on a bull, man. Boobs on a bull. Completely worthless.
But it's not just him. It's Jared Kushner. It's Lutnick. There's so many of them that you just scratch your head and go, really? You can't see what they're doing to you? Is his pride not letting him admit that he made a bad decision? And I don't understand why he would come out and side with Mark Levin. Nobody in MAGA likes Mark Levin.
Nope.
So I don't understand. I understand your argument that, he saw it coming. He's like, if I don't do this while I'm in charge and you try to get this under control, then whenever they get back in control, it's going to be so much worse. Okay, I get that. But do you understand that the liquid natural gas situation just by itself, the biggest operation in the world, just got hit, and that's going to affect literally everything when it comes to food production?
Well, I see that, but what if there is other energy out there that we're not aware of that he sees? And this is the world. And I was talking about this in the first hour a little bit, how the world is transforming, going from, from the industrial revolution to the computer revolution to the AI revolution to the energy revolution. Is this forcing humanity to switch away from fossil fuels and move in a new direction? And I realize this is
I can see that, but how are you going to make the microchips?
Well, for instance, Brother Rick, I got to take a break. Can you hold on through the break? Because I don't want to end this. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we got Brother Rick on the phone. We're going to take a quick break. And when we get back, we're going to continue this conversation. We're going to talk about how do we make the microchips without without fossil fuels. You are listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We'll be right back. Rick, you there? Rick, I've got you on hold, man. And it's just going to be 4 minutes in 40 seconds. But I don't want to necessarily talk through the break because I don't want us to lose this stream of consciousness. But I've got an idea, and I know it's real, but I have to be careful on how I couch it because it's not even science fiction; it's science fact. But it's a little bit out there, so I need to walk through it. If that's all right.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. I'm going to put you on hold, brother. Be right back.
All right.
And we are back here on the Andrew Grosser Show, 103.9 WYAB. Brother Rick, you there?
I'm here.
Brother, I think you asked me the question, how are we going to produce microchips, fertilizer, and stuff like that if we're not using natural gas coming through the Hormuz Strait? Is that where we were basically at?
That's pretty much where we're at.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that we don't have the capabilities of making some. We do.
Mhm.
Shreveport's got a big LNG place. There's one in Texas. I know that the supply is not zero. I'm not trying to sound like I'm panicking. What I'm trying to say is the market is going to be affected.
Yep, and I agree with you, and I think we have the capability to actually produce our own LNG more than enough if we embrace our nuclear technology. This is open source, what I'm about to say. It's actually being done. You can use nuclear energy to actually split the atom, not to make a visible bomb, but actually create gasoline, create oil, create LNG. We have that technology to reorganize. It takes a lot of energy, but they're already talking about doing this. And I think that if they're openly talking about doing this, that means we've already got it somewhere. We're just waiting to break it out. And I think this is breaking the back of the old world of quite frankly, Europe, old Europe, which is where a lot of this one world government crap comes from.
100%.
If you look in England right now, they're censoring Facebook. I got a article from Jackson Jambalaya, Kingfish, talks about a woman getting arrested for racism, and she records the whole. It's breathtakingly scary. But to answer your question on how do we do this, I think we have to sit there and say, do we either have the technology, or is there something that we don't know about yet that we've elected Trump to do that he knows that he's not talking about yet? And that's where I'm kind of hedging my bet, and I'll let you have the last word on that.
Well, my last thing on this is I guess we've all been conditioned watching football and baseball and everything else over the years where you focus on one person and what they're doing. And we got to realize that there's a whole league of games going on at one time. One pass affects 10 different things. It's not one pass to one player and that's the end of it. No, there's second, third, fourth, fifth order effects of everything that happens, whether that be transportation or pipelines or anything. It's not just a cause and effect A to B. There's A to the alphabet of effects and things, and you just got to back up a little bit and look at the whole picture, no matter what we're talking about.
I can't agree with you more. There's so much going on, and it's coming at us so fast, Rick. We've talked about this for so long. There's just so many different real world critical events, whether it be shutting down the Straits of Hormuz, whether it be F-35 getting shot down, or losing a KC-135. And it's really, America's been conditioned to where even when we go to war, we really don't lose a lot of material unless we just leave it all in Afghanistan on a retreat from Biden.
Exactly.
But,
hey, Trump's already declared victory, so why aren't we still there?
War doesn't work like that. I mean,
I understand that. But wars grow and wars grow unconditionally.
We have. This is what I would say to that, because you kind of took me off guard there, and I was like, we have won the conventional war. I have no doubt about that. But it's the unconventional war. It's the propaganda war. It's the AI war. It's the ability where
it's the 100% approval rate war.
Yep.
That's exactly what it is. It's just, we don't know if we're winning or losing. I know what I feel in my heart, and I know what I want to believe, but the news isn't going to tell you. So who do you listen to?
Not only will the news not tell you, but if you talk to war fighters who have been in the soup, I'm not necessarily talking global war on terror, although that's been real world stuff, but you have to go in there and absolutely slaughter the enemy. And we really haven't done that since World War II. I mean, I'm talking Dresden level stuff, where we just wiped out the entire city, lots of civilian casualties. We have, through time, have created the Geneva Conventions, the laws of armed conflict. And we have gotten away from what war fighting really is, when you go to Clausewitz and Sun Tzu, where Sun Tzu did some Genghis Khan type of stuff where every male over the age of 8 was killed. All the women were kept for breeding purposes. I mean, that's like the fundamental of war. Completely changing that culture, wiping that culture off the map, happened not only in ancient China, but it happened in Africa too. They have different writers on that, but that's what we're at. And in the CNN generation, in this AI generation, we just think we can play a video game, Call of Duty, go in there and be the hero and be out in time to make ice cream at 4:30, you know?
I mean, do you mean like bringing in a whole population that does not resemble anything to do with the population that was previously there?
It's pretty different than what the indigenous people of Greenland are a lot different than they were 100 years ago. I'll just say that.
Minneapolis.
Yep. Look
Texas.
at that. It's insane. Brother Rick, I really appreciate the phone call, man. I'll give you the last word.
Man, I don't know if this will be the last word or not, but everybody just try to keep your head on your shoulders correctly and just look around and know that it's not just one thing. If they are putting something on the news to draw your attention and you're getting that shock factor, that's not what they are trying to hide. It's what they're hiding that you need to look for.
Yep. And it's not going to be hidden it will be hidden in plain sight, but it's going to take 2, 3, 4 looks, different scan patterns, different filters to actually see it. And when you see it, you got to
unsee it.
You're not going to unsee it, number one, but you need to let others know what you're seeing. And we can't be afraid to point this stuff out. Brother Rick, I really appreciate your phone call, man. I really do.
Have a good one.
Yep. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Brother Rick. And if you want to call in again, I saw that caller calling in. I hit the wrong button, and that was me sitting there getting upset about myself for missing that phone call. So if you call back, we'll definitely do that. But while we wait for that caller to call back, I want to try to continue this video. If it just reset itself, wouldn't you know? 100%. Here we are. Hold on, I'm gonna jump forward here real quick.
Member of MAGA, you approve of Donald Trump.
It's interesting, though, because there have been a couple prominent people who have sort of come out online, and they're very mad about this war with Iran because he promised no new wars. Is there any sign that people might be leaving MAGA relative to 2024?
Yeah, okay. So, I've said it before, and, the theme of this segment is Tucker Carlson be darned. And when we look at the numbers, I mean, I've heard some people say, oh, you know what, when you look at those MAGA numbers, it doesn't account for those who might have left MAGA. But take a look here. Americans who identify as MAGA, in November of 2024, it was 28% of Americans. Now it's basically the same. If anything, it's slightly higher at 30%.
So do you believe the propaganda? According to NBC, reported by CNN, MAGA has actually grown by 2%. Granted, that's within the statistical margin of error, but it's grown. They'll sit there and they will rip, CNN and Harry Enton will rip President Trump for 2 weeks straight, and then they'll come out with this piece of propaganda. It's almost like they're placating to MAGA. Oh, can't you see we like MAGA? Can't you see we support MAGA? I want to blast through this real quick. I want to finish this.
The bottom line is this: the MAGA base within the GOP is not shrinking. It's the same size. If anything, it is slightly larger than it was back in 2024 when, of course, Donald Trump won a second term. So that 100% that Donald Trump has approval among MAGA GOP, that is not an artifact of MAGA shrinking. It's just an indication of how strong Donald Trump's grip is on that MAGA base.
And so Senator Wicker and Senator Hyde-Smith, let's drink the Kool-Aid together and say that MAGA is actually slightly growing. This is exactly why we need you to come out publicly in support of the Save America Act. It's why we want you to bring the transmitted bill across, not the one that they're trying to put through cloture, but the one that comes in a privileged resolution through the Leader Thune that only requires 50+1 to pass. We need you. You are in a solid Republican state, R+12, R+14, R+18, depending on who you want to believe. That's why we need senators and congressmen who actually will back and do what we need to have done. Let's finish this up.
And so I guess it begs the questions of what's happening with inside the GOP and if there are any splits there, because with those kind of numbers, they're going to want to retain that, right? So they can retain their seats.
Yes. And you know what we're talking about, we mentioned Iran in the intro of this segment, GOP on U.S. military action in Iran. Look at this. In MAGA, it's 90% approval. It's 90%.
So according to this, we've got 90% approval of MAGA for the war in Iran. We had Brother Rick, who does not approve of this at all, and he's MAGA through and through. I can personally vouch for Rick and his conservative street cred. It's really small, but even this, MAGA in and of itself is still approving of Trump, even if this one issue of the war is not. But at a 95% split, that's pretty incredible.
Approval, just 5% disapproval. If you disapprove of the job that Donald Trump is doing, or excuse me, the U.S. military action in Iran, and you're a member of the GOP, look at this. It's your non-MAGA. You're not MAGA. It's 36% there, 54% approve. But the majority of Republicans approve of the job that the U.S. military action is in Iran, and the majority of MAGA, which is the majority of the GOP, very much.
It's incredible. 54% of non-MAGA people support the war. See how they hide that in there right in front of plain sight. I've watched this video 3 or 4 times. When we get back, we're going to finish this video, but I'm a little bit long. Got to take a break. You are listening to the Andrew Gossler Show on 103.9 WYAB. We'll be right back. Hey, we're in a commercial break. Can you hang on?
Yeah.
All right. It's going to be quiet, but I'll come right back to you.
Okay.
And we are back here at the Andrew Gosser Show. I know I've got a caller on hold. I just want to read this real quick. Today at Dairy Queen, whether it be the Dairy Queen in Ridgeland, Pearl, Flowood, Brandon, Jackson, Richland, Meridian, Natchez, Brookhaven, or Hattiesburg, you go and get an ice cream cone, get it dipped, and they give a $1 donation to Children's of Mississippi Children's Hospital. That's really cool. So if you got the time today and you can swing by Dairy Queen, go get some ice cream, help out Children's Hospital. And with that, caller, are you there? Nope, he didn't quite make it. What a bummer. Too bad. Call back. I'd love to have you on the air. Can't take a call during commercial break, though. But that's all right, because that gives me time to finish up what I was talking about right here. Listen to what this last line of this quote unquote poll/propaganda.
90%, very little split in Donald Trump's base. Those who disapprove in the GOP, simply put, they hate MAGA.
It's really clear.
Did you hear that?
Simply put, they hate MAGA.
It's really queer.
It's not queer. It's called being American. It's called putting America first. And this is exactly why CNN is nothing more than a propaganda tool. Calling a MAGA queer? No, what's queer is you are queer. This is ridiculous. Every word has a meaning. Every word that's put into production television like that, they think about that. They got those earpieces in their ear, and they're trust me, they're not trained professional journalists. They're trained presenters and antagonists. That's what's going on there. Because there's nothing queer about being MAGA. It's nothing. Putting America first is what it's all about, and I agree with that. And with that, I've got a special article here. I've got to get to it. I got to find it real quick. Here it is. Now, I told you about this special unit, and everybody's still firing off at me, talking about the F-35. I see it trending. I'll try to click on it here during the next commercial break. But the article is from the Times of London. Chinese spies are waging sex war to steal Silicon Valley. The Chinese are sending attractive women to seduce tech workers, even marrying and having children with their targets. It's the Wild West out there, says insider. Chinese and Russian operatives are using sex warfare to seduce and spy on Silicon Valley professionals. James Mulvin, the chief intelligence officer of Palmer Consulting, which provides risk assessment for American companies investing in China, said this is one of the many ways men have recently been targeted by foreign seductresses hoping to gain access to U.S. technology secrets. I am telling you, ladies and gentlemen, I knew it, and I know, I think I've got the actual squadron identified, but there are women, and in some cases men, who are trained sex workers who are going out there targeting Americans, men and women, or maybe if they're homosexual, they're figuring that out too. Trust me, when you're getting these types of people involved, they're out there and they're targeting you. So even if you think that this person is truly quote unquote in love with you, what is love anymore in 2026? We've completely transformed it from what it meant back in 1984 or 1986. It doesn't mean the same thing. It's still spelled the same way. It's still pronounced the same way, but it's completely different. But I knew it. And I've got a couple of phone calls put in because this actually intrigues me enough to where I want to actually devote important time to that. I've got a couple different texts coming in here, and I want to just read them. I voted MAGA, but I'm sick of American racism. I know you let me know a lot about that, but I appreciate your comment, and I appreciate you continue to text in. People, another unknown texter says, Andrew, this Iran war is prophesied in Jeremiah 49. God is controlling this. Trump is doing his will. Yep, I agree with that too. And you're going to hear about that in the next segment. Honestly, this is a great segue into people are asking me how I'm saying staying so sane in all of this. And because trust me, on the military side of this, couldn't be prouder of our boys and girls over there fighting the good fight, whether it be on the Lincoln or the Ford, whether they be my Air Force brothers, my Army brothers, my Navy brothers and sisters, Marines. You know, I am so proud of them and their courage. I actually posted on my X account the other day a sanitized version. Well, you know what, man? Let's just do it. Let's just do it. Mark, I apologize on the front end. I don't think this violates any FCC standards, but Pete Hegseth quoted a troop out there the other day, and I wanted to use it, but it had some curse words in it. So I bleeped it out and I redid it, but I'm going to play it for you right now. These are the kinds of people that I want to go to war with.
Hey, I don't know who need to hear this. You know what I'm saying? I see a lot of people be talking shit about America. Hey, if you don't like America, go to another country. I love this country. I'll protect this.
And that's what our soldiers are doing out there right now. They're protecting us. Whether you like them there or not, they're protecting you. They're giving you your First Amendment rights. Unlike the lack of First Amendment rights that are in England right now. I got that one too. This is what they're dealing with in England real quick. And this is coming from Jackson Jambalaya and Kingfish.
Look at this here, everybody. 6 armed police locking Lee up for Facebook posts. What an utter joke.
Well, the joke
Can you believe this?
Is that everyone's on police here, so if you could counter it better, that'd be, it'd probably be funny what you're posting, wouldn't it?
It's a joke.
Yeah.
Utter joke.
And I don't think that's England. I do think it's Ireland, but it might be England. And this might be in a northern part of England that I'm not familiar with. But that's the kind of craziness that we're dealing with, ladies and gentlemen. And the only way to deal with this in a mentally sane way that I know of is to have the faith. And with that, we're going to take our last commercial break of the show. You are listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We'll be right back. And we are back at the Andrew Gosser Show. Dogfish, I saw all your comments in the other chat. I was just so focused in on the show, man. I missed a lot of your chats, but I do appreciate everybody who's listening on the live stream. And Dogfish, he says the Persian Empire is not Christian. The people are smart and creative, but hopefully they will make the grateful enough embrace to the same version of peace we all desire. Dogfish, that is the truth. We all need peace. But we're all under a state of delusion. I've been talking about we've been deluded for a while now, and AI is just helping it along with social media. So if you go on X and you search F-35, you're going to see this video. So and it's literally got millions of views of all the other accounts that are retweeting it and making it go bigger and bigger. But I just asked Grok, and I said, Grok, is the video in this post actually true? No, this is Grok responding clearly. This video is an authentic footage of today's incident. Such destruction clips are commonly recycled fakes or game footage in these conflicts. So it does say that per CNN and U.S. Central Command, an American F-35 was damaged by suspected Iranian fire over Iran, but made a safe emergency landing. So again, you've got all these anti-war people, anti-Israel people, happily posting this, celebrating it. And I can't get over Americans celebrating an F-35 being damaged or KC-135 crashing. I don't get you people. I really don't. But you want to know what? I said it in the beginning. I read this. I said, because seeing they do not see, or it said, because they see but do not see, and they hear but do not hear, nor do they understand. That this is all biblical. Just like that last poster said in Jeremiah, it's all biblical. But I don't want to get preached on you. I want to share wisdom. This is wisdom. And he said, go and say to the people, keep on hearing, but you do not understand. Keep on seeing, but you do not perceive. Make the heart of the people dull and their ears heavy, and blind their eyes, lest they see with their eyes and hear with their ears and understand with their hearts. Now, to everybody out there saying, Andy, we don't want to hear none of that New Testament stuff. That's Old Testament stuff. That's Jewish stuff. Even Muslims agree with that. And aren't our hearts dull right now with the advent of AI? Aren't our hearts dull towards love? Are not our ears heavy? Oh, we've heard that before. We've heard that politicians say that 100 times. I don't believe that. We just dismiss that because we don't trust our eyes. We don't trust our ears. Our eyes have been blinded, whether we don't have Instagram or social media, or been blinded with lust. We don't trust our eyes. We can't trust our ears. Can we even trust our hearts? As great as AI is, and I've seen I've done some incredible work with AI, doing research on financial records of politicians in Mississippi. I haven't even talked about that yet, but I'm building a bank of that. But AI can do a lot of great things, but it can also be used for a lot of bad things, a lot of damage, and I don't want that. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Thursday, and as we wrap it up, I just wanted to say thank you for the wonderful week. I will not be here tomorrow. Chip Matthews will be filling in for me. As you know, UMMC canceled my outpatient surgery when UMMC went down, and today's the day in the afternoon, and I'm just not going to have enough time to recover to make tomorrow's show. So Chip will be filling in. Chip, God bless you. Thank you for filling in for me. I want to thank all of you who tuned in today and continue to tune in and interact with the program. Even though I'm going to be laid up over the weekend, you can still tweet at me. You can still text the text line. And until next week, everybody, I just want to wish you all a blessed week and weekend. And keep the faith. Keep it positive. Amen. Hey, we're off the air. I got to run.
You got to do what now?
We're off the air. The show just ended, but I didn't want to be rude and just let it ring. But I've got to shut down the studio for Lindsay, if that's all right.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.